Poe Dameron, issue number 26, gave us one of our first looks post The Last Jedi, and oh boy, we're going with that error. Okay.
You're fulfilling your destiny.
So here's a little synopsis of what's going on in the series, though honestly you really don't need it. The Resistance has barely escaped total destruction at the hands of the evil First Order during the Battle of Crate. Their survival depended on sacrifices made by many brave heroes, Jedi Master Luke Skywalker among them. Now, the remnants of General Leia Organa's Resistance flee through hyperspace aboard the Millennium Falcon, seeking refuge. In this rare moment of peace, Poe Dameron takes the opportunity to reflect upon the journey that brought him and the rest of the Resistance to this point. So we open with Poe, Finn, and Rey sitting around the table in the Falcon, and Poe talks about how he would have met Rey earlier if it wasn't for certain circumstances. I find this interesting as the Force Awakens book, Poe and Rey did in fact meet a lot earlier. They encounter each other after she gets off Starkiller Base and is in a conference room with Leia, Poe, BB-8, C-3PO, and a bunch of chosen officers. After the map is complete and everyone is cheering, Poe introduces himself. When Rey introduces herself, we get the "I know" line we saw in The Last Jedi. So I guess they just wanted to shuffle that to way later. And honestly, from what I've gathered, movie canon always comes first and then anything else. So movie canon supersedes comics and books, which I'm totally okay with. Now Poe met Rey at the end of The Last Jedi instead of at the end of The Force Awakens. Whatever. While Rey believes that it isn't worth concentrating on the past and you need to focus on the future, Poe is very regretful of what recently happened. You know, when him, Finn, and Rose basically fucked the Resistance super hard because Purple-Haired Lady is the worst leader ever. And I guess didn't take that communications class I feel we were all forced to take in college. Also, during this conversation, the artist chose to draw the most awkward facial expressions ever, and I love it. So they basically use this meeting as a plot device to show what happened to Poe after Finn and him crash in The Force Awakens. Though if you've read the novelization of The Force Awakens, this is going to sound super familiar and probably not be anything new to you. We get a flashback to right before Episode 7 when Poe is sent to find Tekka. As we know from this series, Tekka and Leia have been in contact, and the man went to find information for her. It's revealed that the Explorer has found the map leading to Luke, and requests a meeting on Jakku. Leia finds this perfect as the Empire ended on Jakku, and information that will end the First Order will come from that very same planet. Sadly, Poe recounts that Leia felt finding Luke would solve everything, that he would just be it. Rey sadly says, "One man with a laser sword," and sadly looks down at the broken lightsaber of the Skywalkers. Leia sent Poe by himself without a squad as to not draw attention to the mission, as the First Order also wanted Luke. 4 X-Wings would cause talk. 1 X-Wing arriving, that could mean anything. When the pilot goes to the planet and gets the map, he was shocked when the First Order showed up. Poe still doesn't understand how the First Order found him with Tekka, though we know Kylo got some clues from the Battlefront storyline. Despite thinking he probably should have just flown off, after giving BB-8 the map, Poe went back to help Tekka, not willing to leave him defenseless. Though we know that Tekka was killed before Poe could help the man. He also describes his interrogation with Kylo, which I thought was a bit fun. Delightful guy. Real charmer. So a little light torture, a little time in a cell, and who comes along but my buddy, FN 2187. Poe explains that after escaping in the TIE and they were hit and they were crashing, that he saved Finn's life. As they were crashing, he triggered Finn's ejector seat and got him to safety. But when he tries his own, it wouldn't eject. Unable to eject in time, he instead tried to take the ship down as gently as he could, but the controls were shot, and he had a lot of velocity from an orbital descent. Luckily, he was thrown from the TIE as it was crashing, and through some really good luck, survived. Unfortunately, he was knocked out for a long time from the crash and woke up at night, unable to find Finn or the crash site. More unfortunate, he didn't have water, comms, his droid, and his entire body was killing him. After walking for some time, he was finally rescued by Naka, who Rey considers a good guy. Which Poe doesn't necessarily agree with at first, because when Poe had nothing to give him for being rescued, Naka wanted to instead scavenge Poe. When Naka asked him for a secret instead, I love that Poe just blabbed his entire story with being with the Resistance, escaping the First Order, and crashing his tie. Of course, Naka didn't believe him, but agrees to help Poe anyways. While they drive to town, Poe actually tells him stories of his past adventures, but he's interrupted when a clan attacks the speeder. Poe convinces him to let him take over, and through some smooth driving, loses the attacking clan. Eventually, Poe learned that BB-8 was off-planet with a notorious scavenger and a guy they've never seen before, so Poe got a lift off the planet. The comic ends with Poe explaining that he reported his failure to Leia, and after she listened to all the ways he failed her, she told him one of C-3PO's operatives stationed at Maz's place, GA-97, reported that 2 people walked in with BB-8, and they needed to get there before the First Order did. So super awesome to see even a little bit post The Last Jedi. And I know in the upcoming issues we're only going to see tiny little pieces of post The Last Jedi, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with teases. Okay, so some little tidbits about this comic. I love when Poe lets Finn know that he doesn't like his jacket and asks him, "Why do you think I gave it to you?" With like 0 remorse. Also, Rey admitted that she probably won't ever go back to Jakku, which honestly, now that she's accepted who her parents were, it would kind of be a place of bad memories to go back to, so it wouldn't shock me if she never returns there either. Or if she's forced to return there in the last episode as a knife twist in her wound. So good issue. I recommend the Poe Dameron series. Let me know your thoughts on all the big reveals of this issue in the comment section down below. But again, if you've read the Force Awakens novel or you played the LEGO games, you probably already knew this stuff. Thanks so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe for more Star Wars videos.